what's up, everybody? Raw, get the horns in there. This is Michael Powers of Indianadesolate coming to you with another update. This is 2 days in a row, but I got some exciting news for you guys and a few stories to share. But first, as you know it, we get the shout outs out. I want to send a shout out first and foremost to all the friends, families, and fans of Indianadesolate. You guys rock. You guys are number one. Always are and always will be. Without you, we can do nothing and we can certainly be nothing. So sending a shout out to you guys. Hope everyone is doing well. I also want to send a shout out to my bandmates, to Joe Escalrosa. Hope all is well, buddy. Hope you're doing good. To Gene Bass. Hope all is well in Spain, Gene. The beast on the bass. Hope you are doing well, my friend. And to Maddie the singer, hope you are also doing well, my friend. So let's get right down to business. I went ahead and contacted a artist for the next album's artwork. So he got back to me. He's very excited to work on that project. I can't go into too much detail, nor do I want to. I don't want to ruin all the surprises for you guys, but a strong idea for the album. Last night I penned a song, the title track, hopefully, to the album, unless something changes, but I'm not thinking it will. I'm thinking we're going to go with that title for the album. So that'll be a good thing. I think you guys will like it, hopefully, and we'll see what the artist comes back with. Hopefully it's something kick-ass. I was trying to think of something else I was going to tell you guys, but my mind's slipping. But anyways, moving on. So I went to my doctor's appointment, and I have been monitoring my weight, and so I had felt like this time, the visit before, I had only lost 3 pounds. So I was happy with that I didn't gain all the weight back, because I'd started drinking Coca-Cola again. And if anybody knows me well enough to know me, that once I get back drinking Coca-Cola again, it can be very addictive for me. I don't drink alcohol, but my vice is Coca-Cola, and thankfully this time I kind of took it slow, and like I said before, I also switched to Pepsi this time, so it'd be easier on my digestive system and stomach. And I'm trying to mix it up with the fluids that I drink. Like I'll go from, orange juice or water to Faygo. I'm trying to stick with that low-calorie diet of soda. If I do drink soda, I'll drink a soda like RC now. I like RC Royal Crown Cola. I like the taste of that. It's pretty good. Right now I'm drinking water. See, there's my water. So I'm trying to be a little bit healthier conscience-wise. But this update, I got good news. I lost 14 pounds. The big 1-4. So that is good news. I'm getting down there. So I'm finding my shorts to be a little looser, so I'm having to hike them up. And so I'm having to snug my belt up a little bit more, which is good. So I haven't had an appetite for food, like a real strong, I want to pig out feeling in a long time, which is good in my opinion. I think food slows me down. It makes me lethargic and makes me kind of non-productive. So I want to watch, how much I eat, and if I do eat, like pizza, I'll try to watch my portions on that, and I'll try to only, eat 3 or 4 pieces at the most, and then be done with it. I don't really overdo it on the pizza like I used to. You know, every now and then I'll get a craving for like spaghetti or something like that, and I'll make a pot of spaghetti, but I won't, go too crazy on it. I always try to keep in mind to watch how much I eat and only, eat to live, not live to eat. So, it's kind of tricky. I have to focus my mind and sort of, stay in that discipline mode to where it's like, okay, I'm gonna hunker down but I could definitely tell I was losing weight this time. I was hungry a little bit more. I would kind of eat like a bird. I'd maybe during work I would maybe swing through a drive-through at McDonald's, maybe only order one McDouble, and that would be my first meal of the day. Then I'd come home and eat a light dinner, and then basically go to bed. So it's kind of like I'm eating, but I'm not eating a whole lot. So, like I said before, it's a recipe for success. Um, so that's pretty cool. Let me take a pause for a drink here as I'm getting cotton mouth. But no, so that was good news. I lost 14 pounds, so that ain't bad. I told them, I said I want to get down to my high school weight, which is about 250, so that'd be good. So that'd be real good. I hope I can. I certainly, I think I'm starting to feel better. I'm carrying less weight on me, so I think I'm feeling better. I have more energy, even though some days, because it's hot out, I don't have a lot. Some days I'm kind of grumpy, so it's like, some days I don't feel like being at work, but it's like you gotta hunker down, man. You gotta get the job done in the jungle, So, uh, so um, other than that, uh, doing pretty good. Kind of, trying to stretch the budget this 2 weeks because I get paid every 2 weeks, so I'm trying to stretch that out so I'm not broke at the end of 2 weeks, which is it's a hard thing to do. It really is. It's like literally living check to check, paycheck to paycheck. So it's no fun at the end of those 2 weeks. It's like, man, you're barely skimming by. And it's like, man, it's difficult, but you gotta, it's tough, So, uh, but I wanna be able to work, but I also want to have a life outside of work as well. So I don't just want to be all about the work, uh, you know. Got a new transformer in. Yeah, I did. Pretty cool. It's the knockoff Optimus Prime here. Optimus Prime, say hello to the fans. Hello, fans. I used to be able to, as a kid, really do a good Optimus Prime impression, but I can no longer do that as good. I used to do a pretty good Optimus impression, like the cartoon, but now I'm not so good at it. Sometimes I can do okay impressions, sometimes not so good. But growing up, yeah, that was you. Some of you may have heard me mention the Transformer Devastator before, and so I grew up in the '80s. So uh, you know the rock and roll days. So the MTV kids, and back when MTV was music television, not uh, all this quote reality shows, which seems like they just put a bunch of young people in a house and see who's going to sleep with who nowadays, so that's, it's just like, come on, really, Why don't you just rent a porn and get it over with? Skip the speaking, skip the bad acting. I'm just kidding. So everybody runs out and gets a porn. No, but so yeah. Like I said, other than that, haven't talked to Gene Bass in a little while. Hope Gene's doing okay. Um, Sent a message to Madia, the singer, tonight. We're thinking about having him do uh, the vocals on every song on this album. Here, let me fix this. Yeah, there we go. So we're for the album to be more uniform and more constant for you, the fans. We had a track where I did the spoken parts through the song, and so Joe thought of the idea of getting a hold of Madia and maybe asking him, to see if he can step up and do the spoken parts. That way, the album is more consistent. We're not throwing a curveball at the fans. I don't mind doing the spoken parts. I actually kind of like the way I do them sometimes, but he may be able to do a better job than me. He's a professional vocalist, since I am not. So, it might sound quite a bit better to have him do it. So, we're kind of waiting on Mattia to get a hold of us and get back to us on that. So hopefully he'll be down with doing that. Hopefully, it's finally cooling off here in Michigan. Today was kind of warm, but hang on, pause. Time out, time out, time out, time out, time out for a drink. Here we go. So, you know, um, I want to talk about my influences growing up. Uh, Obviously, Dave Mustaine is one of the biggest heavy metal influences in my life. I kind of, uh, I don't want to say kinda, I did. I started learning a lot of his techniques and rhythm patterns by learning tablature, uh, Megadeth music and stuff like that. As you'll notice in a lot of the guitar parts and stuff like that in our music, a lot of it sounds like Megadeth. Well, that's because he had a huge influence on me. Uh, you know, uh, Picking up the guitar and learning the guitar riffs and stuff like that. And my style is a lot like his. Um, uh, Believe it or not, my uncle, he had a huge influence on me growing up as a kid. He was, he was in a heavy metal band called Gunmetal Blue. Yeah, that's right, out of Indiana. They're a badass band. When they were on point, they released a couple albums. Um, Thankfully, I have them both, but they were damn good, really good. He's the bass player for him, and he actually took me over to a buddy of his house, and I was fascinated with the guitar and everything. I was, at the time I can't remember who I was into, but I think I might have been into Guns N' Roses, or maybe at an earlier age I was into Guns N' Roses. I can't remember, but because before I started to love Megadeth, I liked Guns N' Roses first before them, and it was kind of perfect timing for me because uh, guy I knew in high school, he had a bunch of Megadeth posters, and I had heard some of the older Megadeth stuff from my older brother, and he would listen to it and stuff like Ronnie James Dio and Iron Maiden, stuff like that. So he would be down in his room listening to that stuff, and I never really first got into it, because it was to me it was the early sound, the '80s sound of metal, and so it wasn't until the early '90s, about 1992, that, like I said before, I saw the video for Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth, and that really got me hooked on heavy metal, especially early '90s heavy metal, because it was like, wow, I was blown away. Um, but I so I was with my uncle at one of his buddy's house, and his buddy had a guitar and like I think a half stack set up downstairs in his basement, and he had a long, real badass keyboard, and he was playing on the keyboard, and he was playing Van Halen Jump, I think, or something like that, and so I said, hey, can I, and at the time I was young. I hardly knew anything about, playing the guitar, setting up an amp, or especially a Marshall. I think it was a Marshall like half stack or something like that with the head on it. So I was like, hey, how do I want to, play this heavy metal style. I was like, because I didn't know about the gain, the overdrive, or anything like that on the amps, to where you could get it to sound badass instead of a clean guitar tone. So he was really cool, and he said, "Go ahead, man." He was like, tinker around with it, and he set the gain distortion on high, and I kind of, I was like, I didn't. I didn't know like how to form a chord or power chord or anything like that, and so I think the first chord I hit was maybe an E minor with my index finger, and it sounded so good. It was like, wow, this is cool. I was like, and I felt like the power of the guitar, and I felt like this is like really cool. This is like really awesome. And for those out there that have experienced that and know what I'm talking about, you'll understand it. For those that, I played the guitar before, big whoop. It may be nothing to them, but it's not to me, because it's like that. Just it's kind of like, it's that whole feeling of heavy metal and hard rock you get when you first play your first power chord. It's like, wow, you're kind of blown away, like, holy crap, man, this is awesome. So then I remember uh, my older brother had uh, he had gotten old Sears guitar that my mom got us, and um, it wasn't much, but it was kind of like the first guitar we had in the house. And I remember I said, because my older brother, he was kind of like, at the time, he knew more than me on guitar, and he was. He's like, hey, come here, check this out, and so he taught me the first little ditty of "Smoke on the Water," and and I learned that, and I was like, strummed that, and I was like, this is really cool, I was like, this is awesome, so it took me a minute to learn that, and then from there I stayed up like all night learning the riff to Marilyn Manson "Sweet Dreams." A buddy of mine from my hometown Decatur stayed up all night showing me that rhythm pattern, and it was awesome once I learned it. It took me a minute because I was like, okay, it took me a long time to get it down. But I was like, holy cow, this is awesome. And he took the time to show me that and teach me that. So that was really cool. You know, those are kind of like unforgettable moments that, you know, I'll never forget. And then the rhythm guitar player from my uncle's band showed me a Megadeth tune, uh, "Addicted to Chaos," and it took me, you know, quite a bit to practice that and learn that. And I kept bugging him. I was like, "Hey man, can you show me more on this? Can you show me more?" He's like, "Man," he's like, you know. So I've always had kind of a tenacious pit bull like mentality to want to learn more on guitar and do more. And once somebody's teaching me something cool, I'm like I'm like into it. I'm like, you know, let's go. This is cool. You know, so I'm mostly self-taught on the guitar. I took a few lessons uh, early on in my playing days. There was uh, a rumor going around the town I lived in that a certain person showed me how to play guitar. And I'm going to correct that right now because he showed me some power chords and a little bit about keeping tempo. And he taught me quite a bit about power chords. But he did not teach me my rhythm style. He did not teach me how to play the guitar. I sit there and learn Smoke on the Water. I sit there practicing strengthening my fingers, uh, playing so the calluses wouldn't get on my fingers. He didn't teach me that. That was all self-taught. That was all my discipline of wanting to learn the instrument I play. He did not teach me that. So I'm going to squash that rumor right now. Uh, like I said, he showed me a few power chords, some learning on keeping tempo while you're playing live, and that was about it. Because we got together and jammed a couple of times, I think one or two times at the most, and he showed me some pretty cool stuff. But uh, there were times when I would look at my guitar, and while I was over at my buddy's house, I'd stare at it for a minute, and I would see a pattern. And so I'd look at it and study the formula of the pattern. I'd say, this is a pattern. And I'd sit there and I would grab that guitar and I'd start picking that pattern. And it was the pattern I learned by just staring at the fretboard of the guitar was a blues scale. So that was also self-learned as well. Uh, like I said, I learned that by just staring at the guitar and finding the pattern in the first 4 or 5 frets. So, to sit there and say that guy taught me how to play guitar, no, that is incorrect. I've taken a few lead guitar lessons, yes, because I'm not that great at lead. I'm okay at lead, but I'm not real great at lead. I'm great at rhythm. Uh, I'm great at creating riffs. I like to think I'm pretty good at song structure, stuff like that. So, uh, you know, um, that's a little bit of background about me and my guitar playing expertise. I used to practice a lot. Uh, you know, um, I used to jam live with drummers and stuff like that. I tried to get something going here in Kalamazoo, but it kind of fell through as the guys I was jamming with wanted to get high and wanted to get drunk more than they wanted to jam, and I was traveling so many miles with my gear, and I had to drive all the way back when it was done. So I said enough's enough, and plus me and the guy that was the lead singer at the time, we butted heads. I told you the story before, I think, where he wanted to do covers, and I didn't really want to be a cover band. I wanted to be more of an original band. So, unless it was like Megadeth covers, which I thought was cool. I didn't want to play stuff like the Beatles because I didn't think the Beatles were cool. Uh, they might be cool to some people, but they're not to me. I'm more of a metal guy and a hard rock guy, so um, teach his own. Uh, but no, that's a little bit more about me. I feel like you guys should get to know me, and, you know, who I am, what makes me tick. Uh, um, we are currently working on our second album. Like I said, I contacted the artist today about some artwork for our third album. And so hopefully he'll get back to me soon. Uh, so I mean, I guess that's all I have to talk about right now. You know, um, as far as other hobbies go, I like enjoying listening to music. I do play Sony PlayStation 4. I am a big Chicago White Sox fan, believe it or not. I like the White Sox. I play MLB The Show. Of course, I'm the White Sox on there, so I like gaming a little bit. I grew up playing video games pretty frequently. I wasn't a big overachiever in high school. I really didn't like the curriculum. The reason I didn't finish college, I tried to go to college, but I hated the curriculum. I hated the fact that if you wanted to earn a degree in one subject, you had to learn about 7 other subjects. Like if I'm trying to be a music major, that has nothing to do with my English skills. So, I mean, I just hate the curriculum at colleges. I think it's designed to make more money and bring more money into the educational system. That's what I think. Because, I mean, a welder, he doesn't have to know about, chemistry too much, or biology of bugs. He doesn't have to know about. He's not welding bugs, So like I said, I think it's designed to, put money in the educational system and stuff like that. So it is what it is. But like I said, I took a few classes at the community college here in Kalamazoo, KVCC. I took public speaking. I aced that class. That was really a good class for me. I liked that class. It was really cool. I got balls. I'll get up in front of people and I'll speak. Of course, I was nervous, but I can do it. So I did. So I aced the class. So like I said, certain classes I love, I like taking because I do well at them. But the other stuff, I just don't have a interest in. If I had an interest in, figuring out X equals Y equals Z, that doesn't interest me. That doesn't spark my curiosity. That doesn't strike my fancy. Now, if you would take me outside at night and show me the constellations in the sky and say, hey, this is something that's cool, this solar system, that deals with science, of course. And I'm like, that's cool. That's something I'm interested in. That's pretty cool. So it's not that I hate all educational stuff. It's just I didn't like the stuff that I had no interest in. And of course, I'm not going to put my heart and soul into it because it's like, eh, I could care less. So, and it's like, oh, you have to pass. You have to, you have to do this and do that. So, but yeah, it is what it is. But all right, guys, that's about it for me. So hopefully you guys have learned more about who I am and what I'm all about. But we'll get the sign out here. See ya. Hope all's well. The horns for you guys, both of them. All right. So this by the way is not my wedding band or my wedding hand. But it said I'm married to heavy metal. So, yeah. So it's on the other hand because I'm married to heavy metal. So she is my bride. Yeah. So yeah. Not that I don't like the ladies. Keyword ladies, but you know, you know, I don't know. You know, it's just kind of coming off of a divorce, so it's not ready for that yet. That's for damn sure. So, all right, peace out. This is Mike Powers of Indianadesolate signing out. See ya. Enjoy the outro, by the way. Rock on.